So I'm in a game with no pixels and somehow it works. But how? In most games, you can see what's going on. A small YouTuber by the name of Verily Fine was able to make a game with 1 pixel, but still, that's a pixel. Is it even possible? Would it even be fun? In this video, you'll find out how to escape a red square blindfolded. But why? Mostly because I want to beat this person by making a game with even more restrictions, and because I can, so yeah. Without any pixels, audio will be our only resource. So here's the game idea. You're square trapped in a testing facility, but every level is randomly generated, and there are traps. To escape, you must grab a key. And this was a terrible idea, which I didn't know at the time. I set up a Unity project and attempted to program a random map for our player. I followed a tutorial and modified the code to get this masterpiece. I mean this. Since I was struggling with procedure generation, this stuff method somehow magically works. Well, this is really boring. So here's our protagonist, Bob, a blue square. Bob was given the ability to move, and I made sure he didn't go off screen. The goal is to reach the key laying somewhere on the map, but how? Actually, I lied, the key is just the farthest tile away from you, but how will Bob do it without seeing anything? So I stole an idea from my friend. I used a hot and cold system for the player to navigate around it. A beep sound will be played every time the player moves. The sound will increase or decrease depending on how far the player is away from the key. Now even with the screen blacked out, Bob will eventually reach the key. But this wasn't really fun. The game needed to be more challenging, so I added some traps. How about 2? Traps turn on and off depending on the movement of our player, with 2 turns being off and 2 turns being on. One spawns next to the key and the other spawn at random. If you touch your wireless on, you'll respawn at the home square and this sound effect will be played. This was quite fun to navigate around until I realized I won't be able to see the maze in the actual game, because there would be no pixels. I started to panic. Oh no! This game's a little math problem, and I didn't want to be the inventor of game scoring calculators. But wait, what if there were no traps but an enemy instead? Think of any modern game without enemies. Yeah, me too, I can't think of any. The enemy will teleport to a new location somewhere around the player every time the player moves, something like this. Since the enemy teleports along with you, you never run into it. So I created a ghost of an enemy that stays in its last position. I guess a reasonable explanation would be the enemy smells so bad that it always leaves a toxic cloud before it teleports. If you run into the cloud, you will die and respawn, and the same sound effect I previously used for traps will be played. Still, we wouldn't be able to know where the enemy is, and here's where sound effects come into play. Computers or headphones have 2 audio output locations, one on the left, one on the right. If the enemy's on the left at this particular turn, we'll play a distinct sound on the left. This is the same for the right side, with audio played on the right. However, if the enemy's above the player, we'll play a different sound but on both sides. If the enemy's below, we won't play any sounds. Combined with a hot and cold sound every time the player moves, that is if you don't move into a wall, you can successfully determine where the enemy is and choose the correct path. And grabbing the key will spawn in a new random map, with this sound effect. So yeah, the game's currently infinite. That's when I decided you can beat the game by clearing 10 levels, with the victory sound effect if you win. Good luck, speedrunners. And here's a review. You can play this garbage on itch.io without any downloads. I'm gonna call this game A Guess in the Dark, and here's the logo I drew for it. Because after all, that's just what this video is, a shot in the dark. Now go watch this video.